few years ago, I bought a new camera called the Insta360 1X. It allowed me to take shots that would have never been possible with any other camera. But on today's video, we're going to look at the newest camera from Insta360, and that camera is the X3. I've had this camera for a few months now, and I really think that it's a necessity for anybody making automotive content. So in today's video, I'm going to shoot a couple examples with the LS Swap Datsun 620, and also a few with my 2011 Ford Mustang. When you get the X3, it comes with the camera and a few accessories. The new screen is big and bright, and it's also touch sensitive, so you can scroll around while you're reviewing video and see what you just filmed. If you're new to 360 cameras, the concept is basically you're filming every single angle and then you get to choose that angle in post. You can also use it for 360 video, but nobody really watches 360 video unless you have some sort of VR channel or something. For the first shot, we're going to do a 360 time lapse. We're going to use the 1973 Datsun 620 that I have. This audio is on the Insta360, by the way, in case you want to know what it sounds like if you're just trying to vlog. This is going to be the setup for this time lapse. We're going to drive to a local Cars and Coffee. I think it's like 5 miles away. It's not very far. We're just going to time lapse it off of the selfie stick. This isn't going to be a typical truck setup because a lot of trucks don't have this single stamped like sheet metal anymore and the bed hooks and all that stuff. But if you do have an old truck like this, what you'll want to do is buy a couple of these Manfrotto friction arms. I also have a small rig arm with a couple clamps and then a selfie stick. So let's see how that looks. One of the first things that I noticed while reviewing the first test clips was that the audio is extremely better than the 1X. The original Insta360 1X had a lot of wind noise while trying to film these Forza or GTA angle type clips. Because of the wind noise, the audio was basically unusable. A lot of times I would use a Rode Wireless Go underneath of the back bumper just to get the exhaust note, but with the new X3 it's not really necessary. With the X3 you can shoot single lens mode or 360 mode. Single lens kind of simulates an action cam, but you wind up missing out on all the extra angles, so I pretty much use this camera exclusively in the 360 mode. There's also a quick change button for different presets. You can set the presets for time lapse or dash cam and just quick change between them if you want. There's a couple choices with resolution. 5.7K gives you the 24 frames per second option, and it gives you more resolution for zooming in. You can also choose what side of the camera you want to monitor while filming, so you could use this as a front-facing camera if you want for selfies and whatnot. There's a bunch of different shooting modes. You can shoot straight video or active HDR. You can also shoot time lapse. You can shoot time shift. You can shoot bullet time. You can do loop recording, which is dash cam. You can do star lapse. You can do burst. There's an interval mode, which I can't remember what that is. There's HDR photo, regular photos, and then straight video. I used the original Insta360 1X a lot on the Mustang, so I definitely had to use it to test out the X3. For this shot, we're going to do a little bit of a 3/4 rolling rig kind of shot. I'm using the Delkin triple on the hood, and also put another cup on just for a little more stability. We'll probably be able to see the suction cups a little bit, but you won't be able to see the selfie stick. This is just to get a good idea of what it'll look like on the front corner. We could have the selfie stick sticking out like a unicorn horn or something if we want it. I think after this, we're going to do the rear Forza shot on this car as well. This is a good time to mention that the app also has these different fun scene modes, one of which is the sky replacement. I'm not going to go through all the different modes that are in the app, mostly because this video would wind up being way too long if I went through every single one. I'm going to try to use a lot of those different special modes in different social media posts, including YouTube videos, so be sure to like and subscribe. This is also a good time to talk about one of the biggest reasons I think that this is a must-have camera for automotive creators. After you record your shot, you can decide if you want to keep it horizontal or if you want to go vertical. Right now, short-form vertical content seems to be the biggest trend between TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. So if you do something cool in a car and you want to have it horizontal for YouTube long-form, you can do that. Or if you want to keep it for a YouTube Short or a TikTok, you can edit it vertical and you're good to go. Sorry I don't have the decollete panel on, so the shot's not going to look as pretty as it should, but here's the classic Forza Grand Theft Auto view, whatever you want to call it. Did this on a review for the original 1X, and it seemed like a lot of other people did it. Not saying that they copied me, but maybe I inspired one or two people. So you're welcome, everybody, you're welcome. Make sure it's not crooked before you start driving, and also tighten up all your knobs. This truck is probably not the best for this kind of setup because it is kind of small. But if you're street racing and you don't know if you're going to win or not, you could potentially have this arm just hanging out of the car. And with this kind of setup, you should be able to film in front of you or behind you. So if you were racing somebody and they beat you, you can kind of get a shot of their rear or you can get a shot of the front. Either way. Not that I do any kind of street racing, but if you're just like trying to have fun on the street or something, you don't necessarily have to use the iFootage spider crab stuff for this kind of shot. You could use the Delkin suction cup mounts and get out a little bit. But with this arm, it does let you get out a little bit more, and it doesn't block your view too much. Or you might just want to pull this off until you were doing a pull with somebody, and then you can just attach this and do some sort of race with somebody. Around the time that I got the X3, me and Amanda took a West Coast trip. We rented a convertible Mustang, and the X3 came in handy for a lot of this trip. And we did some really cool stuff, like drive through a tree.
Plenty of room on my side. Wait, stop, mirror. Hold your mirror in. Back when I made the video on the Insta360 1X, everybody kept asking me if it could be used as a dash cam. And technically that was possible, but it wasn't really dash cam-ish. You would have to run it non-stop and you would just have 256 gigs of just traffic. But on the 1X3, it does have a loop mode. So basically it'll record a few minutes at a time and then re-loop it. And then if something happens that's of note, you can click record and it'll save that 3-minute loop. That way you don't have super huge files. You can change the time frame of that. I think it's like 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute. But it's a pretty cool feature if you're going on road trips. We're just going to use the loop recorder during my commute to work this morning. Maybe we'll see something cool, or maybe it'll just be people cutting me off and pissing me off.
Responsible for
You
many unbearable hours later.
Work's over. Looks like traffic's really bad on the Beltway, so I'm going to take the back roads home. Maybe I'll do a little time lapse so you can see what a road trip time lapse would look like. Let's insert that right here.
Hunt Valley for Cars and Coffee, and I'll show you some cars and coffee shots with this. I have a few ideas with time lapses, and we'll see how that works out. It's always a good time at Hunt Valley, so. Sorry, neighbors.
Another one of my favorite automotive related functions of this camera is that you can do a dual cam mode. Through the app it can recognize a person and do kind of a selfie mode and then record the front of the camera, or it can also divide evenly so it'll show the front and the rear. I used this function a lot on my last drift video and I think it turned out pretty cool. And because I was recording everything in 360, I was able to record my crash from the front and the back. So I got the Mustang and the 620 together because I needed a cool thumbnail, because nobody watches these videos if you don't have a cool thumbnail. So I figured we could do one last shot and just do like a B-roll kind of sequence with the Mustang and the Datsun, both together for the first time parked this close, because I usually just back them in and park them like a normal person. We'll do like a B-roll thing, see how that goes, and yeah. So I really love this camera. I think that it's pretty amazing and it's just super fun. I take this thing literally everywhere I go now. The possibilities are pretty much endless with this camera. If you want to buy one or any of the gear that was in this video, you can find links in the description below. That's going to be it for the video. Thanks for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing and watching some other videos. I got some cool stuff. If you don't want to, that's fine. Do what you want. And happy 2023 to everybody out there. I hope you have a great year and I'll see you soon.